What's up guys, my name is ESO and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be reviewing Skyrim Survival Mode by Bethesda. This video is also going to function really well as a tutorial or a walkthrough if you want to learn how to use survival mode properly and hear my tips. But before we get started guys, I want to make a few things very clear. There is already a collection of free mods out there called Frostfall, I Need and Campfire. And this Skyrim survival mode that Bethesda has made is literally a copy and paste of those mods. As far as I'm concerned, it's kind of like a stolen idea and concept. And I just want to give credit to those free mods. And if you guys want to install that free collection of mods, you can check out my guide in the description below. I think it's only fair that I tell you guys about that. I will be reviewing Skyrim Special Edition Survival Mode as a paid for mod though guys. And you can see here in the Skyrim Creation Club that it's worth 800 credits. Now we can see here currently on the Creation Club for Skyrim, the survival mode is free. And it's going to be free for 1 week until it releases officially. It's also worth noting that the very sneaky Bethesda has made it so you can only buy 750 credits for £6. But the survival mode is 800 credits, so you have to get the more expensive option. They're clearly trying to bait you there. Now I've got that dirt out of the way, let's actually get into this review. There are many new core game mechanics and features to actually go over. I'm going to be introducing you to these in an organic way just so they're easy to understand and follow. The first thing I want to point out guys is this map here. It shows us a few of the new game features and it's going to help me explain them before I show you the gameplay. This map is very important because in the new survival mode, fast travel is now completely disabled. So you can only travel by foot, by horseback or by carriage. This means that you really need to observe this map of Skyrim and plan your journey out. The map also tells us the different climates of Skyrim. The white regions are freezing, the blue regions are cold, and the brown regions are usually pretty warm. And as you might expect, different clothing and armor in Skyrim now has a warmth value. So you'll actually find that wearing fur armor in the freezing regions of Skyrim becomes even more important, because it has such a high warmth value. But you also get this new problem where you have to weigh up defense versus warmth depending on where you're traveling. The game will inform you where the compass is, either with a snowflake on the left or a sun on the right, whether you're warm or cold, and whether you're getting warmer or getting colder. It also tells you on the top left of the screen, like a little update, whether it's a warm area or a cold area. So it's pretty obvious and you'll pick it up very quickly. For example guys, if you go and jump into the North Sea of Skyrim, in any of the northern colder zones, you'll instantly start freezing to death, like you'll just start losing health because it's so cold. This is a very sure way to get yourself killed, so for that reason I suggest avoiding water in these colder regions. The only way to swim in water that's this cold and not suffer is to either have lots of hot soup before you go in, which I'll talk about more later, or to use the Flame Cloak spell. The Flame Cloak spell is really good because it actually gives you a temporary immunity to freezing waters. So as you're adventuring, the colder you allow yourself to become, the more total health you'll lose. As you can see, a new sort of black darker bar will begin to slowly take up your health as you begin to freeze. If your whole health bar becomes black, you would have frozen to death. You cannot actually heal yourself above that black bar. So it's kind of like a temporary debuff. You're just going to have reduced health. The only way you can remove the black bar is by standing next to a fire or going inside somewhere warm. And obviously if you travel to a warmer area on the map, you'll also start to warm up that way as well. Obviously this new mechanic makes combat a lot more scary in freezing conditions, because you're going to have less health. Being extremely cold also makes you move slower, so it's important that you try and reduce how quickly you get cold in the first place by wearing armor with a high warmth value such as fur. You can also eat hot soup and hold a torch while you're adventuring to retain your warmth for a longer period of time. Being warm will also give you a slight buff to the lockpicking skill, the pickpocketing skill, and even a 10% resistance to frost spells, whereas being cold has the opposite effect, making you gradually worse at your different skills and just generally making you a lot weaker and more vulnerable. And there's a really cool feature that they've added where if you transform into a werewolf or a vampire, it will dramatically increase your resistance to the cold. And also when you feed as a vampire or as a werewolf, it will instantly restore your hunger. And I'll tell you more about hunger and food later on in the video. Another important mechanic I would like to explain to you guys is fatigue. Fatigue will basically happen to you over time when you exert yourself in combat or just by travelling and staying awake. Fatigue will create a dark region within your magicka and stamina bar. You cannot refill your magicka or stamina past that dark region, so you'll just have a limited total magicka and stamina. The effects of fatigue will also reduce how quickly you regenerate magicka and stamina. It will also limit how effective the stamina and magicka potions are. This is obviously going to impact your effectiveness in combat massively if you don't manage your fatigue. So after a day of tough adventuring, it's important that you reduce your fatigue by sleeping in bed. If you sleep indoors, you'll actually get a much better fatigue reduction than sleeping outdoors. So bear that in mind. It's usually worth staying at a local inn or tavern, because then when you sleep in the bed, it will regenerate your fatigue extremely quickly. In about 4 hours, you'll have full magicka and stamina once again. And also guys, they've actually changed it now, so you can only level up if you go and sleep in a bed. I kind of really like that the game is like this now because it makes you actually use all these features in a very realistic roleplay manner. And it feels very natural. It doesn't feel like any of this is really being forced on me. Kind of like you would maybe be in real life, you actually have to plan ahead a little bit, prepare, and it feels a bit like you're actually living in Skyrim, which is quite cool. The next gameplay mechanic I would like to talk to you guys about is food. Food actually plays an extremely important role in the game now. Finally, all those 3D models and the awesome recipes for different soups and stuff that you never really used actually have a use and a function that you guys are going to have to use in survival mode. In Skyrim Survival, you have no health regeneration. The only way you can heal yourself is by restoration, like magic spells, health potions, and of course by eating food. It may be worth learning how to actually cook a few of the useful foods in Skyrim now. For example, you can cook venison stew, which will actually give you 1 health and stamina regeneration for 12 minutes. So it's just a constant, reliable way to keep your health topped up. The magical foods of Skyrim have lots of different properties to them. They'll all reduce your hunger by a certain amount, and some of them will even reduce stamina fatigue, which is dead useful if you're in an extremely long or hard dungeon and you can't find a bed to sleep in. So having the right foods prepared is actually quite important now. I'll have a link to my video guide in the description below with my top recipes for survival mode that I recommend you guys go ahead and check out. And obviously guys, if you neglect to eat food, you will slowly starve to death. Your character will get even more debuffed, your weapon and attacks will be 40% slower, and you'll become useless at sneaking for some reason. Maybe you're so hungry that like people around you can just hear your stomach grumbling that loud. And it also makes your vision blurry, which is also really annoying. It's very important that you know where you can find the cooking pots marked on your map. Because cooked food not only reduces your hunger more, but if you eat a lot of raw meat, you will actually get food poisoning, which will debuff your character even further. And you don't want to get food poisoning, guys. It's not a great place to be. Unless you play the best race in Skyrim, the Khajiit. The Khajiit actually has a unique passive that means you just don't give 2 seahorses about eating raw meat. You're just an absolute savage animal that can just stuff its face with raw chicken all day, every day. So if you play a Khajiit, you can eat as much raw meat as you like. If you eat lots of food and you're well fed, you'll even get some buffs to your character. Another extremely important mechanic, and we're on the last ones now guys. There's been a change to weight limit, the amount of carry weight that your character can carry around. No longer can you go into any dungeon, take the entire contents, and just carry it back to Whiterun like the absolute savage explorer you are. No, carry weight has been significantly reduced. So now you're going to need to plan and be careful about what you actually need to bring with you, because obviously you do want to bring back some loot from the dungeon and not just be a walking bag of food. Obviously, because there's now no fast travel, one of my main tips would be carrying around some kind of fur armor, or at least pieces of fur armor that you can put on your character if you're going to the very northern parts of Skyrim, because there's nothing worse than exploring down south, leaving your fur armor in Riften, for example, in the very south of the map, and then traveling up north and realizing that there's nowhere to buy fur armor, but you need to go up a mountain somewhere and it's really cold. So just bear that in mind when you're exploring. It's always good to have some kind of fur armor with you. Another good thing to carry with you is cure disease potions, as I'm about to explain, because the last two mechanics that make up the survival mode is disease and afflictions. You can catch a disease rather easily from the different creatures around Skyrim, unless you're an Argonian. Yes, finally! The Argonian's 100% resistance to disease is actually really damn useful, because you do not want to catch these diseases, guys. It's now important that you cure your diseases sooner rather than later. Otherwise, if you spend too long in an uncomfortable state, you'll actually get an affliction. So if you spend too long starving or really tired and just don't look after yourself, you'll get an affliction. These afflictions are basically huge debuffs that reduce your weapon damage, your blocking ability, and even your spell damage and your bow effectiveness. They basically screw you over, man. Like, if you get one of these afflictions, you're gonna notice a big difference. It's like the game wants to kill you for not playing survival mode correctly. So you're going to want to look after yourself and avoid any of these afflictions. Also, quickly, I feel like I should also mention that it's only a matter of time until we see a camping mod on the Creation Club, like an official camping mod that works with this Skyrim survival mode. There is a free one on Xbox One, and obviously there are loads of free PC versions as well, but they don't actually work with Skyrim survival mode. I already tested it. I think that's probably deliberate that they don't work, because obviously Bethesda want you to buy the additional add-on as well. But we'll wait and see if there are going to be any bug fixes in that regard. I hope you found this video helpful so far, and it's given you an insight in exactly how to look after yourself. It's one of those things where you're going to have to start playing the game and then you'll figure it out as you go along as well. But I've actually made a few more survival mode guides where I go into some specifics about different foods, different races, and the different armors that you're going to want to use and need in survival mode. So if you want to check out my other guides, just check out the links in the description below. And the best way to keep up to date with any future guides coming out, guys, is to smash that subscribe button and also press the little bell icon next to it. Then YouTube should actually notify you as soon as I upload a new video. Right guys, I've got some news, and I'm putting this at the end of the video just because you don't need to watch it if like you're not really a fan of the channel or anything like that. Like you can just skip this part of the video. But basically for the last 2 weeks I've been uploading videos to YouTube, as I do, you know, at least I think once every couple of days these last 2 weeks, including like, you know, a few hour-long live streams that I've been doing, and like all these videos have just been getting instantly demonetized, and I have no real idea why. I even uploaded one which was unlisted, so no one could see this video. It was unlisted unless I sent a link to someone to go and watch it. No one could see this. I uploaded this video and it got demonetized, but I'm like, how can that even happen? Like, the video didn't have any tags, no description, no title. It was just a video that was uploaded. So the issue is that this YouTube bot is going around and demonetizing videos that it thinks could be not advertiser friendly. So that means I've earned no money for this last 2 weeks of work basically, and it's a little bit worrying for like what the future holds in that regard. I just don't understand why that video with no tags, no description, not even public, got demonetized though. There's nothing wrong with it. Even the vlogs that I've done over the past couple of weeks have got demonetized. I have no idea why. Like, you couldn't really get any more family friendly. I've released videos where I don't swear at all. It's ridiculous. Like, I don't know what's going on basically. So this last 2 weeks work just hasn't had any income for the channel, really. Apart from you wonderful people who donated during my live streams, and also those who sponsor me. I'll leave a link in my description if anyone wants to sponsor me on YouTube. I think it's $5 a month and you get some custom emotes when I'm live streaming, as well as a little logo that you have in the live stream chat when I'm live streaming stuff. It's some of that $5 does go to YouTube, some of it goes to me. I don't know what the split is, honestly, but you know, it helps support me a little bit. There's also Patron as well, which is a financial donation just to me as a creator. If you want to support me that way, really appreciate it as well. I've got loads more ideas and stuff and videos I want to make, and I'm gonna upload them anyway. Like, I enjoy this job. I want to keep doing it, but it's just like worrying when things get demonetized like this. Like, so I just thought I'd tell you guys at the end of the video, so I didn't want to take up your time if you didn't want to watch or anything like that. Yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know what the situation was currently. I've managed to find an advertiser for Friday's video, which is going to be a unique jewelry, like armor guide, which is a very unique thing actually that you can only find in one place in the game, which is quite cool. And I've got an advertiser in that video, which is basically advertising an app, and they've like paid me to do a promotion for that. I can get these kind of things on board, and if you do go and download that app when you see Friday's video, just download it on your phone, like turn it on, use it for 30 seconds, then delete it. Like literally it will help me a lot in future advertising deals, and I think I might have to rely on this kind of stuff in the future, because like clearly like the last 2 weeks work has been like, it's annoying when you like work so hard on stuff and you don't get any income from it. Some of the videos, like, they're demonetized, and then I ask for a manual review from YouTube. They come and manually review it, then it gets monetized again. But the like by that time the damage is just done. Like the video is only going to get like another 10,000 or so views unless it's really kicked off, and you know that's not going to earn the same amount of money. Like it missed, and the issue is that it missed out on that first like 50,000 views or so. So it's a bit worrying. I just wanted to let you guys know what was happening. Sorry to put a downer on your day if you are watching this. Go and enjoy Skyrim survival mode. I'll definitely try and stream some later in the week. Things are so busy right now. I've got so many ideas, so many things going on. I'm trying to get you guys a new t-shirt out, which is going to be awesome when it comes out. I've got loads of new plans in the work as well. I want to build up more of a community on YouTube for you guys, like for the Skyrim community and everything. So hang in there, guys. I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm sure I'll figure this out. Don't worry. Thanks for watching though, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye. The air is chilly here. I'm already dying. I've already been standing here for a few minutes. Skyrim survival mode. There you go, man.